Is the process of Italian citizenship by descent under attack? What does it mean? What is happening right now? Today we want to talk about a really recent and relevant update that is affecting all the application for the Italian citizenship by descent. We are talking about the application for the Italian dual citizenship by descent through the Italian courts. So what is happening and how we can solve the situation? Because you can be affected by this situation. So stay with us until the end of the video because today is a really hot argument. So let's start. Hello, this is Marco Bersani from the Bersani Law Firm and Partners from Italy, an immigration law firm specialized on Italian citizenship application, especially by descent. And welcome back to the channel. Today we want to talk about a really hot argument, as we said at the beginning of the video, because there is one issue that is affecting a lot of applicants today. As we already talked in another video that we will link to you here above me, the application right now for Italian citizenship by descent are quite different than in the past. In the past, you were able to file your application through the Italian consulate, through your local Italian consulate, as long as you have all the documentation and you had all your documentation ready to be filed at the consulate. But right now, it's pretty impossible to apply through the Italian consulate for many reasons, and in many countries, especially in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, in all South America, in Argentina and Brazil, for example. So what you can do, as we already talked in the other videos, you can file your petition for Italian citizenship by descent through an Italian court. Right now, starting from the last update by the law, starting from June 2022, you can file your application, your petition for claiming your Italian dual citizenship by descent through a local immigration court, so the local Italian immigration court where your ancestor was born. What is the problem right now? What is happening right now? Until the last update in June 2022, all the cases, all the petitions were filed through the Italian court in Rome. So the Italian Civil Tribunal in Rome was the only competent jurisdiction to decide your application for Italian citizenship by descent because of lack of appointments at your local Italian consulate. Here was born the issues that we are talking about today. So let's make a concrete example just to better understand what is happening. So let's assume that you want to claim your Italian dual citizenship by descent, and your Italian heritage is the following. You have your grandfather, then your father, and then you. It's a really standard heritage. Given the fact that we are talking about male line, so technically by the law you should apply through the local Italian consulate where you are resident abroad. Let's assume, just for an example, in Los Angeles. You go to the Los Angeles consulate, you check the appointments, you are unable to book an appointment and say, okay, I will hire an attorney in Italy for filing my petition for Italian dual citizenship by descent, claiming there my petition, my right of citizenship by descent because of lack of appointments through the Italian consulate in Los Angeles. So what happened? If you have a really standard case with no problems with the naturalization or what happened, or for example your grandfather never naturalized, is not a problem. Your application is pretty straightforward, we can say, and so we should expect that your application will be almost certainly approved by the judge. The problem is that if you are expecting to do your bloodline, to your Italian heritage, that for example we have the grandfather had your father in the US, then after the birth of your father, your grandfather naturalized as American citizen, but naturalized when your father was still a minor. Here there's the news. Here there's the issues. One judge in the past from the Court of Rome ruled against the case that says that when we have a minor born in the US, so was considered American citizen by birth because of the ius soli, and the father, the Italian one, naturalized, then the minor, because he was a minor, was affected by the decision, by the will of the father, of the Italian ancestor. As you may understand, this is a really game changer. into the application process. In general, there are many cases where there are applicants that want to claim the rights of Italian citizenship by descent, given the fact that, for example, we have the Italian ancestor that immigrated to the US, then they naturalized after giving the birth of a child, but the child was still a minor. This is a problem that is relevant for two types of situations. The first situation is that you have to fight your case. You have to fight your case because this is something that was created by the tribunal in Rome, just an interpretation that was made by this single judge. So this is something that is technically against the law, because the law is not talking about that. The law only says that if you have a child abroad in the US, for example, so the child was born as an American citizen by birth, and then after that you naturalize, the child was born from an Italian father. So at the moment of the birth, the child was Italian by birth, and so because of the Jure Sanguinis, the right of blood, you have to be considered Italian after you will become an adult. If you never renews to your Italian citizenship by birth, then you remain Italian for your entire life. The second situation is that this type of ruling about this judge was technically against, as I said, against the law, so against what is the general rule. If you apply to the consulate, your case will be certainly approved, because by the consulate, and also because it was specified also by the ministry itself in 1992, what is important is the moment of the birth. So, beside the fact that what happened after the birth, if you are born from an Italian father, then you got your right of Italian citizenship by blood, by Jure Sanguinis. So you may ask yourself, okay, but so what is happening right now? What are the consequences? What I can do? What if I have an Italian grandfather who had my father, and then my grandfather naturalized when my father was still a minor? So what I can do? Do I have to renew to my application because it will be denied? No, absolutely no. There are solutions, and we will explain you now what solutions there are. As you may imagine, who was affected? It was not our client, but who was affected by this denial? I mean, he got or she got a really surprise, because it's a really weird situation. So what happened? When you have a denial from the tribunal, you can always appeal. Of course, you have the right of appeal, and you can appeal your case at the High Court of Appeal in Italy. They appealed. Here I have one of the judicial precedents, because there are many cases. I mean, the first case was processed in 2020, so of course in these two here, other cases were processed by the judge in Rome, then denied, and then appealed. The good news is that you can appeal, and you may expect to win your case, because of course I think everybody agrees that this judicial precedent says that you are not eligible because the minor was affected by the naturalization of the grandfather, his father. It's absolutely weird. And not because, this is my opinion, but because the ministry itself says that from specific regulation in 1992, it says that what is important is the moment of the birth. What is strange and is weird, if you think about it, is that if you have the same case with the same documents processed by the consulate, you will be approved. If you process the same case with the same documents and you fall under this section of few judges that ruled against this type of cases, you will be denied. So, it's really weird situation, a really weird situation. There are actually two good news. The first one is that you can appeal, and we have here a recent sentence from the Court of Appeal in Rome, because of course it was appealed starting by a denial from Rome. And here the Court of Appeal in Rome says no, the decision from the judge in Rome is wrong. It's wrong because what is relevant is that what happened at the moment of the birth. The law says that you can lose your Italian citizenship only if you expressly renounce to it. So you need to express your will to renounce. For example, if you take your oath of allegiance to the United States, of course, you become US citizen and renews in the past to your Italian citizenship. So if you have some automatic acquisition of a foreign citizenship, you don't renew automatically to your Italian citizenship, but because there is no will actually. And this is what the Court of Appeal says. So says no, the judge was wrong because the interpretation from the judge is wrong. What is relevant, and is of course the rule that all the consulates apply and the ministry applies, is that what happened at the moment of the birth, and you can renew only if you expressly decide. So you formally express your decision to renew to your Italian citizenship. The other potential good news, as we said at the beginning of the video, is that since June 2022, there is a new ruling for filing the cases through the Italian court. So now you have not to file through the court in Rome, you need competent jurisdiction, but you can file your petition for Italian dual citizenship by descent because of lack of appointments through the local immigration courts, depending on where your ancestor was born in Italy. This may be good. Why? Because of course we can work on filing a case with new judges, and so we can expect, of course, that the new judges will rule according to what is the law until now. So what is the practice of the consulate, the regulation from the ministry, and so of course we can avoid to fall under this number of judges that rule in Rome, rule against this type of cases. So in conclusion, what solution we have? So what you can do? Actually, we are pretty optimistic, as we said, both because right now you can file through the local immigration courts. So we are pretty optimistic that with the new judges, we can stronger the cases and we can recall what is the general rule actually. So the rule enforced with all the consulates. So this is the official interpretation of the law. So we are pretty optimistic. You have to know since the beginning that you may have to file and appeal eventually your case. This is possible, of course. We cannot ignore that these few precedents exist. As you maybe know, when there are some judicial precedents, they are not so relevant, but they can be relevant. Each judge is different, each judge may have a different interpretation of the rules. So, this precedent exists, we cannot ignore that. But what we can do is knowing that we have years and years of positive precedents, so we can work for stronger the cases with also the new judges, with the new courts. So we are pretty optimistic about that. If you fall under the circumstances, you can always email to us, email to our office and to our team. Our team will be always at your disposal to reply to your question, to any doubt you can have, of course. So feel free to contact us to our website, and you can also leave some comments here below to the videos. We are always happy to engage with you. So if you have questions, or if you want to share something that happened to your case, you can write below to the comments of the video, and we are happy to reply to you, giving you some tips and some hints. And of course, do not forget to subscribe to our channel. It's very important also because as soon as we post any new videos, and we have many videos to post, so keep in touch. You will receive immediately a notification. This year and next year will be really intense, really interesting years when it comes to the application for Italian dual citizenship by descent. So keep in touch with us. Thank you so much, and see you on the next video.